Hi Pradeep, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I'm about to start today's session. So let me share my screen. So meanwhile, what did we discuss in our previous session?
Regarding test cases and elements in test cases,
Uh,
step-by-step process, how to do it, login page in demo workshop.
right. So now we came to know like how we can scan a particular page, get its elements, and then use in our test case. So we did for this verify login page, wherein we were just opening application. So if you want to see detail, so here we are onto the test case, right? Onto the test case, we have the steps. So step one, what did we do? Just click here, and then you will see, okay, open application. We have used something, and this URL and the value. So what module did we use? If we just have to see, right click and jump to module, then it jumps to the specific module. Now this, if you see, it is open URL, which is coming from standard modules. So this is standard modules that we have used. Same way, what is next? We have used wait for 5 seconds. So we have used another module. Which module? T-box wait, coming from this timing. And now what is this? Click on login link. So if you see this click on login link, so here we have used this module, the custom module, which we have created for our application. So that module is what we have used. Click on login and then verifying page and then closing the browser. And we have also executed and seen it was going well. We executed the other thing that I wanted to tell is we executed that on a default browser. So that was our last stop where we did. So in the session, yes, I want to show you how we can uh, execute on a different browsers. So for that, what you have to do is select the test case. You can add something called test configuration parameters. Now that where you can add to your test case level, not to the test step. So if you see test step, you won't get test configuration parameter. Only on test case, yes, you would get something called test configuration parameter. You would have details wherein in details panel, you would be seeing the steps in detail. And then in test configuration, just the configuration related and control flow diagram. So if you see this control flow diagram, you would see the step-by-step thing. So about this whole test case, we have this open application as the first step, and then the control flowing in this way. Now wait for 5 seconds. So it is just straightforward, right? Step by step, it has just shown this part, and this is the control flow diagram. Now, if you use some conditions, some other things here, so same in the control flow diagram, you would see two different paths for that particular condition and what and how it is going, that you can see it in this thing. So I'll just jump onto the test configuration tab. So in here, since I said we can write it in test case, we can either do it in folder, any folder, just wherever you want, even the parent or this child or inside this. So for now, I'll just do it in the test configuration level. So how to add test configuration parameter? Now, basically what test configuration parameter is. So this test configuration parameter is nothing but it is kind of just a static value uh, before we execute our test case. So we would need some data, some sort of configurations to our test cases. So whatever data, for example, let's say the browser that we want or the URL that we'll be launching. So this part, or the username, password, a few things, whatever you have, this can go into this test configuration parameters, wherein what are we doing with this test configuration parameter? Before executing our test case, we are just trying to initialize some uh, parameters. So the variable and the value name, which is for our scenario in this case, we need browser, right? So what I'll do is I'll create test configuration parameter with the name called browser, and the value of that I'll be giving, I want to execute it on Chrome, right? So that way I'll give Chrome. So how I can create, just right click on this, and from this section you will just find create test configuration parameter, or the shortcut is control N control dot. So with that you will be able to create this configuration parameter with this color. And so in this parameters, yes, you can select. So the name of that browser is, it would be browser. So you see browser is that test configuration parameter name, and the value of that browser, since I want to execute on Chrome, by default it is executing in Edge browser, the system that we set, system apps, right? So but then since I don't want to do it on that and I want to do it on Chrome, so I'll set it as Chrome. You see, this one is what I gave here. And now in this case, if you just, I'll close this, and if you would execute this, right click and execute. So all these things should take place in this Chrome browser. So the tab is already opened. So it should open another new tab. It is doing, and it is waiting for 5 seconds is the next step. After that, it clicks on login. See, mouse is moving there and it's clicking on login. And then it is verifying welcome, please sign in page thing, and it should close the browser. You see, process execution result, it was green in color and the execution has went well. If you would see steps, and here you would see some log info, the start time, duration, how much time it has taken to execute, and each step as well. If you would see, it would say, you would see how much time it has taken to execute, right? These are the things. And yeah, any other details, if you just want, right click on this column chooser. So here you would see summary. You can even have description. If any other options that you want, you can just double click or drag and drop onto this. And then here you will see that columns. So there's no description or summary or the detail. But then this start time, you see, duration, and then the end time. So how much time it is taking is what you would be able to see. So this is about just the log that we get. Everything is green in color, which means everything passed. If something fails, it turns into red. If you see again, when you expand, there are arrow marks. When you expand inside this, there is some attributes that we use. Regarding that, we get some details. So about verification, so we get some log info. And when you see here, click and then select this, you would see, okay, verification. What were we expecting? Expected to true, and actual was also true for this element. Same way for email as well, it was expected to true, actual is also true. If expected goes something with different to what we were showing, then it gives false. So here we are saying, okay, verify this thing to true. So that's where it is verifying that one, and it is saying, okay, it has found, and it is giving us the result as true. So this is about the browser test configuration parameter. Apart from this, yes, as I said, if you want, let's say URL to be what URL to be of test configuration parameter, let's say. And why we would, so what kind of variables or elements, yes, we will be giving in test configuration parameters, what to give inside the test case. So with practicing with kind of experience, as you use it, you would be in that state wherein you can analyze by yourself, saying, okay, this goes into the test configuration parameters, this goes just within the test case. And yeah, these things we can say. So on a general note, one example that I can give is URL. When you see URL, so if it is static and what should I say, if it is kind of, this is static, but in general terms, when you are testing an application, let's say, so you would have test applications, you would have different applications, again, development, QA, staging, pre-prod, what we call, and production. So all those different environments we have and the values of that. So if it is dev, it can be like dev dot the application name, something like that, the server, this thing. So if it is QA, then you would come here and change it is QA. Same way, UAT, if it is user acceptance testing, so you'll say UAT, or prod. So production application, when it can be like this thing. So different sort of applications URL will be having, but same code, same thing is deployed, right? So same test case would work. Only thing is, in those cases, we just have to change our URL. So that's where, since we would be changing only that sort of parameters, so this thing we can set it as the test configuration parameter, meaning for the this is kind of, it comes under configurations is what we are telling. So how to create, just right click on this and say this is nothing but just the URL. I'm saying URL or QA URL, dev URL, something like that. If you want, you can say it. I'm fine with just URL, and then the value of this URL is the value that I was giving over there. You see this value. Now, since I have used this, and here if I just execute it again, it would take only this value. But then since I have given the test configuration parameter and I should be using this, so how we can use the syntax for this is, go to the step where you want to use, and then in that step under values thing, first remove this part, and then flower brackets, open this flower brackets, and you would have something called CP. So CP is nothing but configuration parameters. So you say configuration parameters, and then again square brackets open and close, and then closing of this, whatever you have opened. So like how I follow generally syntax is, when you open this bracket, habit for me is just close the bracket, and then open close is what I've written under this. Yes, what is next? CP is the configuration parameter, and then we have to open the square brackets. So as soon as you're opening the square bracket, you need to also close it. So that syntax shows, and then this would be more clear in when we are doing writing some complex sort of things. This is for now, yes, it would be easy, but later you would be knowing it. So best practice is, just whenever you open some sort of this bracket, try to close that immediately, or keep in mind that you have to close it. So sometimes you may forget, but yeah, keep in mind that you have to close it. And then inside this, just the name of the configuration parameter. So name of my configuration parameter is URL, all in caps. So that's where if I just give it, you see this color turns. So it is CP in this blue color, and this light URL is in this sort. So now if we say this one, this is what it is doing it. So this one is like when I just right click on this, and when I say translate value, meaning this is now configuration parameter of URL, and I'm just saying in this particular step, what is the value of URL? If I have to see, just right click on this and you would find some option called translate value. So if you click this, say, so the value, what is there in that URL is what it would be displaying. So you can say this is the value. So this is one sort. Now, if you would execute it, yes, you see here, these are the steps, and you can also see this wait for 5 seconds. We have given 5 seconds time. So this thing, if you want to keep it here inside the test case, fine. Else, yeah, again, this as a configuration parameter, if you want to create, you can create. Go to your configuration parameter, right click.
Pradeep, hello. Yeah, Pradeep.
Yes.
Also, without configuration, also the test case will work, Pradeep.
Yes.
Why?
Yes. Nawaz. So just now we even did that, right? Previously,
Yeah.
we didn't even use these things, and we just executed, and it was executing. So one parameter that we need was browser, and the default one we didn't set to Chrome. That's why we used it. Or if you just set in the system for the default one as Chrome, and then come here without giving any test configuration parameter, yes, you can execute it, and your test case goes well.
Okay.
That is also fine. But as a general practice and as a good practice, best practices, what we say is try having some configurations, some sort of configurations. And only thing is why we need configurations. So when you have developed test cases, let's say, so hundreds and thousands of test cases, if you have developed, and now that test case, so the scenario goes in like what I would say is, okay, execute, your lead or your manager would say, so execute the test cases on dev environment. So if they would say, you should be in just a state wherein you shouldn't be changing any of your scripts, test scripts. You shouldn't be going to your test case and then come here and change the URL to dev URL or staging URL. So once the script is completed, the habit should be like nothing should be changed in the script. So to do that, to achieve that particular thing, such dynamic changes that can happen, that can go, is what we give it in configuration parameters. So we create test configuration parameters for that. And before the execution itself, yes, at high level, we just create test configuration parameters and what all things before executing all our hundreds and thousands of test cases, what are the configurations that I need is if we have those things clear, we just create it over here and then we use it in our test scripts. And every time, yes, when we are running it, we will just check our configurations once to see if the required values are there or not. So if it is as per our expected, then we will just right click and execute directly. Nothing to worry about.
Okay.
So yeah, this is how. And yeah, if I just want to show you execute, if you see this, so we are using to open application, we are using CP of URL, and in CP of URL, you see we have that URL. It's doing that mouse click and then closing it. You see 9 seconds. Within 9 seconds, the test case has executed. So sometimes it takes a bit more time, sometimes it takes less time. So depending on a particular period, it would be doing it. So if you see, yeah, it is going as per this, and the total duration it has taken 8 seconds. 8 seconds, something milliseconds, so close to 9 seconds, right? It has taken that way. This we can see, and yeah, here is what we have given this test configuration parameter. Now, another thing that we can do is about this test configuration parameter. So if you see in the sections, we have something called configurations. Now, in configurations, so you would have So you would have this API and database, two things by default we are getting it. But then what is this configurations? Again, this configurations is nothing but similar to the test configuration parameters. Only thing is we are trying to just maintain all our configurations. So here, this we are creating for demo web shop application, and that too the URL browser and this URL, right? These two things now. So when you are working in the project again, if you are working in multiple projects within your same company, if there are multiple projects and same workspace, same details, they even take it and just create two different folders for two different applications projects, and then they work on that. So if we have that sort of thing, so what we can do, so to maintain the configurations again in a specific folder level or the test case level, what we generally do is we will be doing it in this common place, which is at configurations level. So here what we can do, we can just say right click and we get an option called create configuration. So if you see this, it is green in color, which means yes, we can edit it. I have already checked out that previous thing. So check out details. So if you see, when did I checked out? On 21st at 7, I checked in. So which means I have checked out this whole thing at this time by this user on this machine. So which means I have already checked out the root folder. If you would see here, the root folder I had checked out, and that is what we are using. So I'll just keep it here in our configurations. So I'll just right click and create configuration. Now, what configuration? I'll say this is a demo web shop, and in demo web shop, this is what we are just we'll say this is QA related to QA. Demo web shop QA URL. So same way demo web shop what UAT or some other browser or different variations, or within just you can say only URL. I don't need URL thing, URL related value. I will be just changing in the configuration as well. If you say, you can even do that. So I've just created a configuration and then right click onto this. Again, same thing. The test configuration parameters we can create here. Right click and then test configuration, n number of parameters. Yes, we can create it. And so if you see our requirement was to create only browser and URL. Two for now, this parameters. So in this, one is browser, right? So same way, come here. So you have some drop down options. So default one, what Tosca would allow us to create. So it's even in here, it is the same thing. So it is when you right click, do this here or there, it is same thing. Only thing is here you would find a common or a local place for the configurations that we are doing it. So in this section, when you are at this place, let's say some sort, and now if you want to find where is your test configuration at which level, I used browser, I used URL, but I'm not able to find it. So in a quicker way, yes, you won't be able to find it or do it. But then as a best practice, just do it at a common level and then use that at whichever level you want. Again, it could be that way. So here I would use out of all this, you see browser, you have this, you have page sync, you have screen flow. So all this, Tosca date format, all, and retries, yes. So this many default things that Tosca is giving us. We are interested in this browser. So browser configuration and the name, when you open this drop down, Chrome, Edge, Firefox, we give this one. So whatever browser you want, you can set it. I'll set it to Chrome. and that's it. So the next parameter I want to give as it is URL. So URL, this is our custom thing, so that won't be present in our this thing. So we can say URL, or we are saying QA, or whatever it is. So URL. So what I want is just to differentiate it on the environment basis, right? So URL. So I would say, since this I'm saying as QA, so QA related URL is what I'll be giving. So the URL is this, right? So I'll come here and just give that value here. The same way, or whatever you would have, you can give it here. Create that. And once we have created, how to use this? So how to use this configuration? What you have to do is, let's say I just want to do it on demo web shop thing. So I'll just select it. And then in the test configuration parameter, I just go to the configuration, click, drag this one, and drop onto the folder at level that I want to do. So if you see, when I'm dragging, when I'm dropping, you see here, here you can't do, so it is showing this one. But yeah, so when you were seeing it earlier, for like, okay, I'll show you that again. So if you say mouse and just drop it onto that folder, as soon as you drop it, you would get those configurations. So what is the usage of this one? Again, the syntax, with syntax, there are no changes. So it goes the same way. If you are using it here, it goes the same way. No changes. You have to do it in this sort of things. So when you say what is the advantage of this sort of configuration? So let's say tomorrow going forward, I have to add let's say another parameter, which is sleep or wait time. I'll say wait time I have created, and wait time I will give what, 6 seconds, milliseconds. So this time I'm giving. So wait time is what I have created. As soon as I've created that, again, I just don't have to drag, drop, go there and use it. So if you see in the test configuration where we have dragged and dropped, that another parameter that we have added is automatically it would be showing. So only thing is what you have to do is go to your test case and then use that variable, that value. How you can use? You can just say curly braces cp of open square bracket, and then I want wait time. So you see, whenever you open this, so what all configurations are available to this sort of section, to this level, is what it would show. So we have browser, we have URL, we have wait time. I need wait time, and then close square brackets, curly braces. So this, when you remove this sort of this thing you would get. So let's say you forgot to close square bracket, and this way if you have written, and if you just come out of, so you see the value, the uh, look and feel of that particular thing is something different. So it with this we just have to understand some syntax, some sort of syntax is missing. So go there and then rewrite, do it, check properly. Once you do, and if you just come out of, you would see, okay, this is now, it is showing in correct way. So the syntax, whatever we used is in correct way. And you can also right click and translate the value of that thing. So there I have given this. I can use it, this one. So this is how you can use. I can even just keep, okay, 5 seconds. I'll just keep it. So it's not again compulsory that we have created so many configurations and everything has to be used in your test case or the test step. So I have created URL, wait time, but I'm nowhere using currently. If you see, I've just removed it and I'm nowhere using. And if you just execute it, yes, it goes well. There's nothing like, okay, this unused configuration parameter and you have to just point it out. There's nothing such. Another thing that you can notice is, yeah. So earlier we were having browser and URL configuration, this thing. I'll just say right click, reset to default, right click, reset to default. Because here earlier it was showing just star, right? Browser and this star, this thing, but the values again, it is same. So if I'm changing it to something, and as soon as I say, so you see this is this configuration, it is showing bold, and then there is star. Star meaning something is changed in this level, and the value is Firefox and in this configuration. So if you would have hundreds and thousands of configurations, yes, you can have it. So if I have this, if I have any other, all that I can drag and drop, and it would be showing here. So inside this, we have this configuration with star, and in the browser, which means other things, if you see, it's not bold and it's normal. So we are not getting anything here. But then this one we are getting. Reason is this configuration, when it was used or dragged and dropped at whichever location, at that location, the browser value was Chrome, but at the lower level, the browser value was changed. Something is changed. Star meaning something is changed, and that value is changed to Firefox. So now when you execute the test case, it would execute on Firefox. So that's the thing. But yeah, if you want the default one, right click on that particular browser and say reset to default value. So whatever default value at top level it is there, it resets to that. This is about configuration and the common one. And yeah, so I guess we are good with this test configuration parameters. Now, if you see, we have written verify login, and it is now working as expected. And now what I'll be doing is, since I have completed this test case, I will change the work state to completed. And if you see this icon, as soon as I give this and come out of that thing, there's a difference in this. This is work in progress and this is completed test case. So this is what I have said. Okay, it is completed. Same way now in such case, yes, we can move on to the next. What is that? The next test case. So next test case would be what? First test case, we have verified this. Now second test case, what is our second test case? Let's take second test case as opening of that application, entering login credentials, giving some invalid login credentials, and click on register or okay login button, and then verify if a wrong message or successful kind of invalid message is shown on the page or not is what our requirement is. So if it is that, how we do that? So for that, again, what we have to do, right click, create test case, and then write the name of the test case. The work state is in planned, keep it in work. And then step by step, again, open browser, open that URL, and then click on register, click on this thing. So same steps, right? So if you would see here, open application, yes, we want this, we want this, we want click on login. But now verify login page also, yes, if we want, we can use this. But before closing, we would still need other steps, which is what? Entering username, entering password, clicking on login button. So those steps we need. So which means now the steps are duplicate, right? The same steps we want in our next test case as well. So what we can do is click this, right click, copy, and then open our new test case, click, right click, and then paste. So you would have the step, that step has come. Same way, you can go another steps, you can just copy, paste. So we can select multiple by pressing this control button. And then I want this step, I want this step, I also want this step. So click and then control C, if you see, copy, or right click and then copy and go to your test case, right click and paste, or control V. So if you just say control V, the next steps would come. So if you see here, first I had selected 5 seconds, and then I have selected verify login, and then I've selected click login. So same way it was copied. But after wait for 5 seconds, we need to click on login is our next step. This should not be there. So this is after that. So either click this, drag and drop like to the above level. That way you can do it. So the steps, yes, we wanted. So this is how you can use. Else, what I would follow is I won't create this thing again from start. I'll just copy the whole test case itself. So copy, Control C, the test case, and go to the folder. In this folder, I want to create test cases. So I will select and Control V. I'll paste it. So as soon as you paste, we get this one with _1. So test cases would be unique. Test case names in that folder should be unique. As you know, test cases would be in unique thing only. So this _1 I don't want, and my second test case is 002, I would say, and this is verify login page was that, and this is verify invalid login functionality. Let's say invalid login functionality is my second test case, and this I haven't completed it yet. I'll say in work, in progress. So it is this way, and you see everything is there. I want this step, yes, but I don't want this. So I'll right click and delete it. So I want this 4 steps. Up after 4 steps. So if you see our next fifth step would be to enter username. So till this step, I'll just try to execute. So I'll see if it is working fine or not. I'll just say right click on the test case, run in Scratchbook. So if you would see here, verified required license, and it's opening the browser, and that is mouse clicking on login, and then this page, it is also verified, green in color, everything is fine. So in this test case, what I will do is I don't want this click on login to the mouse click. So wherever possible, use X instead of click. And the difference between X and click, as I said, click was like it is moving mouse and it is going there. But if you use X, like it won't show your mouse action where it is going. It directly performs this sort of action. So in the backend, in the DOM, it directly clicks it. So this is to JavaScript it does. So in the backend, it tries to click this particular element. So if I just say right click and run, I can individually run the step as well as the test case. So this step I have changed it, and I want to see if my test step is working fine or not. So I'll say right click and this thing. So if you see now, see the next page, it has opened. So it has opened this thing. It has clicked here internally. The mouse was here, but yeah, it went and clicked there. So it won't show that action it is performed. So this one, and next I'm fine with this. So the next step, as I said, after this we want to enter email password. So since we have already scanned our login page, login this thing where I can enter email ID and the password and then login. So yes, I need this module. How I can use? Click, drag. So if you see this, when I'm dragging, you see circle and there is a cross thing. So which means again, yeah, it is like can't be dropped, or it doesn't fit in this level. So now if you see this one, as soon as I come here, that circle and this thing, it is going right. So which means yes, you can use this particular item in this level, or in this level, in this level, in this level, or in this level, or in the test case. So in the folder level, if you drag and drop, a new test case is created. You see, new test case with that step. But we don't want new test case. We wanted in existing test case only we want it, right? So in existing test case only we drag and drop. Come here. or right click, search for login page. So that way. So here, what is our next step? After verifying this thing, I want to enter email ID. So how we can enter? So in this email ID field, let's just directly enter. Now we are kind of testing some invalid functionality. So here I will say, okay, enter username. I'll just say this thing. And in the test step, okay, username is what I will use some username and .com, some username I'm using it, email, and the action mode is input. Now same way, what's the next step? Enter password. If it is our next step, right click, search, add step, and login page is what I want. If you see this, this is login page coming from application. So demo web shop. Instead of this, you can even search for demo web shop and it shows, okay, pipe symbol, and then this is home page, this is login page, all related to this search it shows, and that modules you can see. And from this I need login page. So I'll click on this login page. So after entering username, I would say enter password. I'll say enter password, and in the password field, in the value section, I would set the password, some random password, and then action mode would be input. Same way, what is next? We want to click on login. So again, we can right click, create that sort of thing, or within one step, the same step, if we have that module and we want to use after password, I want to use login. So in this level only you can use the next ones. So after entering password, let's say if you want to enter email, or if you want to verify this one, which is what you're going to the previous level. So you shouldn't be doing it. Like after this, yes, if you want anything, you can use the below ones. But the upper part, if you are using it, what it does is in this field, first it would do this thing. First it would do this one, and then it goes to the next one. But if our requirement in this step is first to enter password, after entering password, then do something else. So in that case, password should be at the top, first level. So it should be there. How you can do that? So if you want password before entering email, if it is our requirement, then what you can do, jump to the module. In this module, you see this one here, we need to change that level. And I'll say, okay, password first, track up here, and then email next. And then these things. So if you see the step now, password is first, email is the next, this way. So this modules, wherever it is used, everywhere it gets changed, this one. So if you see enter username also, like after password, it is username. So that's where you can change it this way if your requirement is this. But make sure if you are changing it, it also affects in what all places you have used. So I would suggest when you're doing changes, analyze those changes where it can affect, and then only you do that. Else, if you think, okay, I don't want to do that, and let's keep it simple the way it is, you can do it that way. So first thing, what you can do is from here, enter password is what you can write in first step. The next step, enter email is what you can set it. Do that. That next third step, you can do whatever you want. So for me, password and then the login. Login, I want to click. I can click by this one, or I can use X as well. So this on button, especially on buttons or the links. Button is what? How are you identifying with this OK kind of box? This is nothing but button. This box with A is nothing but a text box field. This dotted are nothing but div, a container, some sort of span, some element, and this circle with right check is nothing but a checkbox. Radio button, circle and dot we get, so that is radio button. Those are the things. So on this button, yes, I can use this click
Pradeep,
or
what is meant by dotted, Pradeep?
It's just the representation for Tosca, Nawaz. So nothing. It doesn't mean anything, but it's just to identify. So they have some list of options, icons, and then based on that, if it is the square way and this dotted thing, they assume it is some sort of container. How you can say it is container? So onto this module, you see the business type as container. So this is container. Now instead of this container, you say, okay, this is not container. It is actually the link. So I can say link. I'll say link, and as soon as I click, you see this is changed to link. So yeah, whatever business type you give, based on that, the icon is changing, and then with this we can assume, okay, this is nothing but a link. But actually, when Tosca scanned, it has already identified that this is not a link; it is a container. So we will just not change those things. We'll keep it as it is. Yeah. So this one is that, and then so here now, if you see this step, what are we saying? We are just entering password. We said. But in this step, if you closely see, we are entering password and we are also clicking on login link. So rename the step according to that. So that if you see, if you don't see this, and if you see here, enter username, enter password is what you are doing. But this step is actually also clicking on sign in. So you need to let the user know, or whoever is referring to, even you, when you would be referring it, should understand that, okay, in this step you are doing entering password as well as clicking on login. So you can write the same thing, and click login is what you can write it according to your understanding, that way. So this is what you can do, and I've just clicked on login, right? Fine. I'll close this. I'll rerun now. So you can right click run, or you can select specific what specific test case steps as well. I have selected open. I have click on login link. I don't want to verify. I just want to directly enter username, enter password, and click login. I want to select these steps. And once you select it, by pressing control and then right click and say run in Scratchbook. So only those selected steps would be running. So that selected step is opening of this browser, and then next is clicked on login, entered email ID, password, clicked on login, and we have got this sort of thing. So here we have got some error, which means login was unsuccessful. Please correct. No customer was found. So when you are testing beforehand itself, you would be knowing if you are giving invalid sort of details, you are expected should be we should get a message with login was successful, this sort of message. And if it is like no customer account found, which means this customer itself is not there, whatever you are giving is not registered with this application, that's where extra message would be shown. Let's say if we just remove this, if we use something which is registered, so in that case I assume we might not get this one. So even that sort of testing, yes, you have to do. And then so when you are testing the negative functionality, this thing, so you need to be clear what sort of value are you giving. If you are giving the user which is registered on the application, then the expected message should be like even no customer account found. Or no, it shouldn't be this one. It should be like registered user you have given, but invalid credentials, so login was unsuccessful. This sort of message is what you should be getting. So my credentials are this for this demo workshop. So even you can create your own thing and use it. So my username is this, right? I come here, paste it, and then give some password and click on login. So if I give this, the credential provided are incorrect, which means, so this email, this user is registered, but the credentials are somewhere wrong. So this is another scenario. So when you are testing, yes, all the scenarios is what you should be covering. And as a manual tester, yes, we will cover all the sort of scenarios, those test cases we will have. And as an automation tester, we will automate all the required test cases. So if we want to also automate this sort of scenarios, we will do even this ones. And yeah, so how we can use this? So what I will do is I will go to the module first. I will jump to the module. This is our module, and in this module I want to add, because module is what I would say, like in one module, so all that related elements of the same page should be in the same module. So for this verification thing, now since I would be verifying it, so to identify this element, since I have to scan, I won't be scanning a new module. That is not a good practice. I can do a new module, and in that new module sorry, so in that new module I can just select only that one element. So I can say, okay, this one I want. I'll just double click. I'll just click on this condense, and yeah, I want this thing. So I want this one, I want this one, it is there, right? So I want this message, login was unsuccessful, please correct the errors and try again. This one. Also, if you want this one, you can select this. So I've selected this too. And you see login was unsuccessful, please correct this thing. So first thing, at the module level, yes, I'm finding it with the help of title with this, and the module attribute with this properties, we are using inner text tag. It is also fine, else you can use the default name, whatever suits. I'm fine with that. So this next one is this credential related thing. So tag is this, and uh, with this it is showing yellow, which means this is not unique. So how to make it unique? Select some other property. If you see class name is empty, ID is also empty, so we don't have those things. But if you see inner HTML, we have this value. Inner text, we have outer HTML. In this outer text, we have visible inner text. You can take any of these properties, and if you see, this would be like, this can be unique. Reason is there's no such inner text or inner text HTML with this name. The credentials provided are incorrect. So you can select this. As soon as you select, this is what the selected item is unique. And now, yes, you can click on save and close this. So if you would see, the module is created and it was scanned. And now if you see, this is login was unsuccessful related message, and this is li. I don't know what li is, but if you see the property of this inner text, it is the credentials provided are incorrect. So this is the sort of message. So for an understanding, when you use this module, now you can go there and use this module as well here. And here I can say, okay, I want to verify this one. So I'll say verify, and in the value section, select this. I'll say this exist equals to true, and that's it. So when I say this one exist equals to true, now this step, we have that page in the background and this message is there, this element would be there. To see if this Tosca step is working fine or not, only this step I can right click and then run and see if this step is executing fine or not. So if you see, it has executed, mouse didn't move, and this one it did, right? So verification was successful, expected and actual are same. That's where it goes green, passed. Now the next thing is, in this verification, before verifying, let's say I want to just mouse over on this thing. So how can you mouse over? Curly braces, mouse over is what we have an option from Tosca. You can select this and run, and then action mode for that should be input, because we are inputting this thing from Tosca to application. So it should be this, and then execute this. So with this step, what are we doing? We are just mouse overing on that element. So if you see, mouse is at the left corner. See, the mouse has went to that element. So it has done this. Mouse over is done. So after mouse over, you would want to verify. So what you can do is click this, copy, and select this, paste. So again, you have duplicated the elements as well. So you can duplicate n number of times. You see, you can duplicate all this if you want to reuse multiple times. So I don't want this many things. I want only two. One is mouse over. Second, I don't want to mouse over, but I want to just verify if this element is exist or not. Or first one can be like, it should say exist verification thing. It should do verify if that element is exists to be true. First step is to verifying if this is there. Next one is mouse hovering on that element. So this sort of thing. And what are we doing here? We are just verifying uh, error message. Right? We are verifying the error message. We write that and then run. So what it does is it verifies as well as mouse overs on that. So two steps in one shot. It is done. So if you say here, yes, login verification was successful, then the next step also it performed this one. So this is what you can verify. This is invalid functionality related. So in the next session, I would be showing, okay, how we can do it in existing thing only. Since we have created different modules, which is what these elements are in the same page. We shouldn't be creating a different module. It's again a login page only, and then we only have few elements. That too, it's not like hundreds and thousands, and then that's where we just thought of, okay, let's create a new one for specific thing. If it is that case, yes, you can create a new one, but as a general practice, it should be in one module, so that it would be later easier to find that module. Maintenance would be kind of easy. So this is about today's session. So yeah, do you have any doubts, anything to ask? So if no questions, then yes, I guess we are good to close today's session. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep.
Yeah.